Hiya, my name's Shelley and welcome to my channel and welcome to my weekly reads. How are you guys? Let me know in the comments below. I think I'm feeling a little bit floopy today, so I don't know how this weekly read is going to go. I tried to start it like 4 times. This happens when you're making videos. Those of you that make videos know, and anyway. So I'm going to dive right into the books that I've finished / I've started since the last time I spoke to you. The first book is Austen lives. The first book, I told you I can't do it. The first book is Alice Austen Lived Here by Alex Gino. And in this book, we follow 2 non-binary teens who are in secondary school / high school, and they've got a project to write about a character in Staten Island and then design a statue. The winning team, whoever in their year group, whoever wins gets the statue made, basically. I mean, this is fun. I loved learning about actual Alice Austen. I did not know she was an actual real figure. Alice Austen was a photographer, and she was queer and she was amazing, and I just loved that. And this is just a gorgeous, cute little book. It's very, very short, so it's not got loads of depth to it, but yeah, I enjoyed it. Very quick, easy read. The next book I picked up this week and then also read this week because I was kind of, like I said, feeling a little bit funny this week. I wanted some comfort. So when I was in the library Monday, I spotted The Sad Ghost Club, Find Your Kindred Spirits, which immediately drew me in because I was like, I need like something quick, something easy, something that's got heart and warmth to it. And this basically... It does do that, but I don't. Right. So this is really obviously aimed at, like, it's a YA kind of book. It's young, aimed at young / like, sort of, I would even say this could be not middle grade, but slightly above middle grade, if you know what I mean. And yeah, it's obviously, it talks about anxiety and the importance of talking to people and making sure that you don't isolate yourself and things. I liked this, but it was kind of, obviously it's not aimed at my age range, so I can't fully judge it for that reason. But for me, I just felt like it was missing something a little bit. It was good, but it wasn't great, and it wasn't like, it was just okay. But I think if you had teenagers in your life that needed like this kind of like representation about opening up and about mental health, I think this is a really great book for that. So yeah. Then the next book I'm going to talk to you about are from the Charlie Challenge, because I figure before I get into sort of other currently reading territory, I'm going to talk about the books I've read from the Charlie Challenge. If you didn't, again, if you weren't here last week, you might not know, myself and Charlie have picked 5 books that we're going to try and read by the end of the month / it's just like a trying to read books off our shelves, basically. So the first book that I read and finished at the weekend is Open Water by Caleb Azumah Nelson. This is a very snippety short book and has been languishing on my shelves for a little while because my older sister Emily lent it to me. Actually, she lent this to me before I even got to Small Worlds. So Small Worlds, in case you don't know, is like one of my favourite books of the year by this author, and I'll link my best books of the year so far in the description in case you guys want to watch that. But yes, this book is I think it's along those same sort of lines. Apparently he's writing like a trilogy is what it seems, but it's kind, I don't know how you would say they're a trilogy because they're not really linked it in any other way other than obviously Caleb's sort of has this writing style, this like lyrical writing style, and they're sort of have a sort of certain feel to them. So I think that's what links the 2 books that he's got so far, and obviously he's writing the 3rd one currently. But yeah, this one is just about a young relationship, and I liked it. It's still a 4-star read to me, but it's not. It's nowhere near. I don't have that as much connection to it as I did Small Worlds. I guess Small Worlds talks about family and stuff a lot more, which obviously, if you know me, that's much more my kind of up my alley sort of thing, whereas this is this young relationship, which he obviously it still has Caleb's like I said, his writing style, his rhythmic beautiful prose and his gorgeous language. So obviously I did still love this, but it didn't reach the heights of Small Worlds for me personally, and it's very, very short. But yeah, I enjoyed it, and I'm pleased I read it. So I still think Caleb Azumah Nelson could be one of my favourite authors, potentially, after having, once I've read the latest one when it comes out. Hopefully I'll be able to say that. So that's that. And another one on books I'm currently reading that are on the Charlie Challenge are The Years by Annie Ernaux. I've been reading this. I've been reading this at night time. I said I was going to read Emma at night time. I've actually ended up picking up this because it's very snippety. It's non-fiction, and it's sort of, I don't even know how to really describe this, and I really don't. Sometimes when I'm reading it, I'm like, what am I reading? It's sort of snippety bits of non-fiction and snippety like sections, and the best thing I can sort of like compare this to was one of the ones that was on the Booker last year, After Sappho. So it's very kind of gives me After Sappho vibes, but obviously not talking about the same themes, but in the way that After Sappho was like snippety pieces of language and snippety pieces of writing. This is what this kind of is. The Years is a narrative of the period 1941 to 2006, told through the lens of memory, impressions, past and present, cultural habits, language, photos, books, songs, radio, television, blah, 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 blah. See? So it's kind of like that. I'm going to finish it, but I don't have the same connection to it again that I had with Annie Ernaux's first book, Simple Passion, I read last year, which was only, again, Simple Passion was only 34 pages. It was about this kind of affair that Annie Ernaux had. And this is nowhere near even in the same kind of like, it's nothing to do with any of that. But yeah, I don't know. I will finish it, but it's, I'm just like, I don't know what I'm reading. I don't have any real thoughts on it. I don't love it. Definitely I don't love it, but I don't hate it. Yeah, so that's that. And then I've got also currently reading Neon Roses by Rachel Dawson. I kind of had read like one chapter of this last time I spoke to you, and I haven't read loads more since. I think I'm 81 pages in. So, you know, and this is like a 300 page book. So I'm just under a third of the way in, and we are following, Rachel Dawson's a Welsh writer. This is a book that's set in the 1980s, and we follow Illuminated predominantly. She is up in, like I said, Wales, and it's a time of the miners' strikes. Her boyfriend is a miner, and it's her. So she's got a boy. So she's in that relationship, which I feel like she's not obviously super happy in. And then what happens is this is based on real life, because obviously in the 80s, during the miners' strike, the LGBTQ group came up from London and did loads of fundraising for the miners, and they came up to sort of support the miners. And this is obviously based upon that, takes that true fact and makes a story about it, because then what happens is the main character then meets a young character called June, and yeah, it's about then the relationship that happens between Illuminated and June. So yeah, and I like this. Again, it's not like one that's like blowing me away, but that doesn't mean it won't. Maybe it's because I've been reading it in like, maybe I just need to sit and have proper time with it in order to really hook into it. Yeah, I'm really hoping this isn't going to let me down, because this is quite an anticipated release of mine, so we'll see. So I think, oh yeah, and then another book from, so that's 1, 2, 3. Then on the rest of that, on the rest of the Charlie Challenge list is like 2 more books. The Known World by Edward P. Jones, which I was listening to on audiobook via Scribd, and unfortunately I've currently DNF'd it because I just could not get into it. I don't know what was going on. Like I said to you, this week mental health isn't at its best, so that could be why I'm not focusing as easy on certain books, and certain books I'm struggling with, and this was one that has suffered for that. And I just found the story, I just could not concentrate on. I could not really pick up what was going on as strong, and it just, I felt a little bit bored by it. But I don't think that's the book's fault, so I'm going to keep it the physical book and then head back to it once I've forgotten enough about it in the future. But obviously for this, for the purposes of this Charlie Challenge that me and Charlie have created, it's a DNF. So not the book's fault, it's definitely my fault. So if you've read that book and you love it, I'm so sorry. And if you want to read it, don't be put off by my lack of enthusiasm of it. The last one on my Charlie challenge, which is still on my shelves right now, is Thrust. And I have picked up this book just because I can't remember why, but I was like messaging Charlie because I'd flicked it open, and I was kind of like, of certain pictures of certain sections of it that I was just like intrigued by. I can't even remember why. I don't know, sometimes this is what happens, but yeah. And there was like a picture of an apple, there was a picture of turtles. I was like, there's loads of cool things in this that I feel like I was still really excited for it. So yeah, this will be my next one after I've read The Years and Neon Roses. Hopefully I'll enjoy it, like I said, but I've still got some other books to get to first before, as you will see in a second. So another one that I am currently reading, and it's one I'm taking a sort of a group read, and it's for Jack and Angie's read of Frankenstein. We are doing so via the Audrey app, which is an amazing app. So this is one that Jack has been talking about for a long time, and basically it just has so many great features to it, and I'm really enjoying reading Frankenstein. It's obviously the classic about Frankenstein is the doctor, the creator, and the monster he creates, because people often have that misconception that Frankenstein's a monster. Frankenstein isn't the monster, Frankenstein is the creator, the doctor, the scientist. So yeah, I've been reading that on Voxer with a group of people, and yeah, so the features of the Audrey app I'll quickly mention. It has like a recap feature where it goes through and basically has like little chapter summaries. You have a guide that talks you through the book and talks you through, so at each chapter that you're going through there'll be sort of little snippets of information about that, like behind the scenes information. So for instance, in the first chapter you hear, it tells you that obviously Mary Shelley was only 19 when she wrote Frankenstein, which I thought was fascinating. I did not know that. And loads of other little snippety bits of information as you go through. So yeah, that was really interesting. There's gorgeous artwork on it. They have a character list. Yeah, like I said, chapter guides as well. Like, it's just such a well curated app, and I'm loving taking my time with it. It's just really helping me slow down reading and absorb so much of this story. And and obviously chatting on the Voxer group has been amazing as well, and like hearing everyone's thoughts, and yeah, it's just really enjoyable experience so far. We're reading like 2 chapters a day, so yeah, that's that in terms of my currently reading. Right, oh, I didn't tell you when I finished. There's one I've missed on the ones I finished. One of the books I finished a few days ago was Small Joys by Elvin James Mensah. And this book, I love this book. So in this book we meet as 2 sort of like main characters. We meet Harley, who is battling with his mental health. He's really struggling. He's got there's content warnings come with this book in terms of mental health, and also in terms of abuse, like from a partner and stuff. So yeah, if you're sensitive to any of those things, obviously look up what the content warnings are. Yeah, I'd recommend doing so. But yeah, so yeah, Harley is struggling with his mental health. He's really depressed. He's been through a lot in, like I said, previous relationships, abusive relationships. He's just got lots and lots of, he's been in a dark place, and he meets Muddy, and Muddy who also does have a sort of backstory to him, and his backstory, he has got a somewhat heavy past as well, and he carries a lot with him. But Muddy is just joy in a character form. He's just, I just love Muddy. You know, when you like read about a character and you just, oh, I've taken Muddy into my heart. He's a Mancunian. This book is kind of set in the 2000s, I think, like 90s / 2000s, and Muddy is obsessed with Oasis. He just loves music, and it's really influential to him. He's part of a football, I think it's a football group, or it's a rugby group. It might be rugby. For some reason those elements didn't stick to my brain, wonder why. Yeah, so he's got all these like laddish kind of friends as well, but he's like really interesting. He loves he's a bird watcher, and yeah, he's just the most enthusiastic character I've ever read, despite whatever he's gone through, despite all the things. Like, he's just infectiously positive, like, and there's just like a purity to him, a very youthful, almost naivety, but I don't know whether it is naivety because he's very, very sincere. So whilst being so upbeat, he really gets Harley, he takes care of Harley, and it's this book is just about their friendship, and it's just it's so great to read about like this really positive representation of like masculinity and different types of masculinity, because it's not just Harley and Muddy in this book, there's also Harley's friends. So you hear about them, and it's no one is really one note, which I just loved. I really, really recommend this book. It's on Scribd, the audiobook's on Scribd. It will make you smile, and it does have heavy elements within it, but it doesn't feel like a heavy book, do you know what I mean? And Muddy, yeah, Muddy's just going to be like my favourite character, I think, for like ever and ever, and I just want to read more books with Muddy in, because he's just so gorgeous. You just want to hug him, you know, the character that you just want to hug because he's just he's just so lovable. Anyway, I could gush and gush about Muddy. I'm going to go on to other books. Right. In terms of my current audiobook, seeing as I said about that audiobook, I'm also listening to a non-fiction on Zigzag, which I got, which was Illuminated, which is by Melanie Sykes, and it's Melanie Sykes, was it last year or the year before? She's found out that she is autistic, and this is sort of her memoir in terms of her experiences growing up. So it's basically, there are also interspersed moments of her realising how her autism has always been there in the background and been with her, and she sort of hasn't, obviously, if she would have had that diagnosis and how it would have helped. But that's why it's so important for getting young girls diagnosed, because like as we were growing up, like it was mostly boys that were in my age, like in the 80s, and mostly it was boys that were autistic. You never heard about girls being autistic, and my daughter is autistic. I don't know whether you guys know this, and I myself am neurodivergent. I am dyspraxic. So yeah, I just think it's so important to talk about women, autistic women, and again, it's giving the power back, because Melanie Sykes is awesome. She's got an awesome story in her successes, and yeah, it's important. So yeah, I'm really enjoying listening to her. She narrates the audiobook, she does a really good job of it. So yeah, please, I'm reading it. I think that's all for my current reads. So then as I'm going to show you, obviously I've been in the library, I've also got other reading plans ahead of me and my lovely friend Claire, who you guys, if you would have watched my Oxford vlog, Claire was in the Oxford vlog, she's the one I went to Oxford with. We are planning reading a book together, because sometimes we like to read books together regularly. She's a bookworm, I'm a bookworm. This is what you do with your friends, obviously. And a book that Claire mentioned to me about wanting to read, which obviously has been on my TBR, is Rainbow Milk by Paul Mendez. I know this is going to be a bit brutal, because I think this is, I think you followed two narratives, sort of one that's sort of more closely linked with the Windrush generation, so it's sort of in the 1950s, and then a present day one, and it's, I think the lead character is in sex work, I believe. So I know this is going to be quite heavy, but yeah, it's been one of them that I've been wanting to read for ages, so I am looking forward, which isn't the right word for heavy books, but you know what I mean. I'm looking sort of forward to Paul Mendez's writing. Also, Paul Mendez narrated Small Joys, FYI. I'm sure that it was actually him that narrated it, so on the audiobook. Unless there's another Paul Mendez narrating audiobooks, I don't know. But I think it was him. So yeah, that's another little link. But yeah, so that's that. And then one I picked up from the library just today, because I heard Scott talking about it in one of his recent reads, is The Rachel Incident by Caroline O'Donoghue. And I think this is kind of like, so Caroline O'Donoghue is an Irish author living in London. there'll be another Irish author in a second I'll talk about. And I think it's kind of, it says this hilarious and heartfelt new novel, and it's a love story, unconventional and messy. And also the thing that I remember Scott saying was that the lead character in this is a tall lady, and I myself am 6'1", so I am also tall. So if ever you meet me guys in real life, you'll see I'm just basically a giant. I'm not the tallest woman ever, but obviously I'm taller than maybe you guys expect. So yeah, I haven't really read any books with tall women in. So yeah, as soon as Scott was saying about that, I was kind of like, oh, I want to read that anyway. And then it was automatically in the library. Will I get to this before I have to give it back? I don't know, but I definitely want to try. So yeah, that's that one. And then at the weekend, I went and was having my eyes tested. Not that you guys need to know that. But when I was in town, I obviously walked past the Waterstones, and this, like in the last week or so, the Waterstones debut fiction a list has been announced with a ton of books on it, most of which I have read and all mostly enjoyed, and only 2 of which I haven't read. The 2 that I haven't read was Chain Gang All Stars, which I 100% want to read, and also Carla by Colin Walsh. And subsequently, like, the premise of this, I was like, oh my gosh, this just sounds like something I really, really want to read. It's kind of like a literary thriller it's sold as. But yeah, Amelia Barlow Books read this. I think she was commenting on Gemma's video, and also then she subsequently talked about it in her own video, saying how much she enjoyed it. And so I was like, oh, I need this. So yeah, okay, this is one that I had to pick up. So yeah, this is like the booktubers made me buy it / pick it up series. This is my eternal way though, isn't it? But yeah, I cannot wait to read this. And also I didn't notice when I, like, before, obviously on the day I picked the book up, I didn't notice, but yeah, that obviously this has been scrubbed out, so I'm guessing that's Carla. So yeah, those are all the books that I have either finished / I'm currently reading / my reading plans. I don't know how many of these I will actually finish over the next few days, we will see. In terms of things that I'm kind of up to, it's the holidays now have literally just begun in the UK as I speak and as I'm recording this. So yeah, the kids are going to be off all summer. I'm going to have some extra like days at home as well, which is going to be really good. And I'm really looking forward to just going out with the kids and hopefully having some quality time together. In terms of what I'm kind of like physically currently doing, I've started at the weekend a little craft project, which I will put an image of on screen. I'm documenting this, so I'm making this kind of, as you will see, it's like this little book den kind of thing, and it has like a little light, and I'm very proud of what I've done so far, but I'm going to sort of have that as one of my sort of summer craft projects. So yeah, if you guys are interested in seeing a video of that, let me know in the comments below. I am already doing that already. I've been documenting it, but yeah, hopefully you guys will want to see that. I hope you guys have had a good week, and hopefully, like I said, I've felt a bit funny this week. I felt a bit all over the place. I don't know where I'm at. I think it's my hormones. This is what happens to us. Like I said, we've just got to be a bit gentle on ourselves when this happens. Yeah, we're all here for each other. I love the little community we have on my channel, and you guys are always the best. So yeah, I will be all right. But yeah, this weekend is going to be a self-care weekend. That's my mission for this weekend. It's going to be doing all the good, like, chill things, and yeah, hopefully I'll feel better next week. We'll see. Watch this space. Let me know how you guys are. Let me know what you're up to, what your plans are. Are you doing anything particular in the summer? Are you going away on a holiday? Let me know everything, what you're currently reading, all that good stuff. So yeah, take care and sending you guys lots of love. Goodbye.